At 2 a.m., a sleeping giant woke up. Mount Etna's southeastern slope slid 4 centimeters toward the ocean. A whole year of movement happened in less than 3 hours, and by sunrise, Italy's top experts were hitting the panic button. The mountain shifted while you slept. Fresh cracks tore open the earth overnight. For the scientists watching, this was way deadlier than an eruption. What triggered this sudden collapse, we came inches from a total catastrophe. Just past midnight, the GPS readings went haywire. Usually, these numbers crawl by a fraction of a millimeter. Suddenly, they jumped off the charts. Billions of tons of rock were sliding into the sea. The entire southeastern flank moved 4 centimeters. It took less than 3 hours. Scientists watched this slope for decades. It usually creeps forward inch by inch. Snail's pace. Millimeter by millimeter. Year after year. But that night, the mountain broke all the rules. Years of movement happened in one silent, terrifying event. The monitor screens looked like a heart attack. At 2 a.m., the graph shot straight up. By 3 a.m., the total slip hit 40 millimeters. No warning signs, no tremors, just a sudden, violent jolt in the code. This wasn't the slow drift geologists rely on to keep you safe. It was a full-on sprint. This acceleration shattered every safety baseline we have. Experts called it a record-breaking nightmare. Volcano changes usually happen in slow motion. This was a lightning strike hitting the data center. The size of this shift left the experts paralyzed. You couldn't see it in the dark, but the danger was real. A year of pressure released in hours. The mountain didn't ask for permission. When the sun rose over Sicily, the truth came out. The mountain had moved too far, too fast. This wasn't just a glitch. The data screamed that Etna had fundamentally changed deep inside. Scientists realized they knew nothing about its stability. Your safety assumptions were gone. Every single monitoring station on the coast screamed the same warning. It wasn't an error. It was real, fast, and happened while you slept. For unknown reasons, the mountain decided to lurch forward. This wasn't geological time. It was immediate acceleration, a warning written in centimeters and hours, not centuries. The only question is what happens next. Are you prepared for the answer? At 6 o'clock in the morning, the center in Catania went into emergency mode. The system flagged the anomaly instantly. It was no glitch. Every GPS tracker confirmed the terrifying slide, 4 centimeters, all moving the exact same way. Immediate action was required. Within minutes, Dr. Elena Rossi was staring at the disaster plots. She checked the satellite feeds in horror. She spent years watching Etna. Nothing in her life matched the speed of this shift. Rossi had to be sure. She pulled raw logs from Catania, Milo, and Zafferana. She prayed for a computer error, but the numbers matched. The movement was absolutely real. By 10 in the morning, she pulled the trigger on the emergency workflow. She alerted the response team and the government. This was officially a crisis. Every second was tracked. Every frantic call was logged. The room filled with nervous staff. Rossi ordered a check on the deep borehole sensors. Instruments buried deep inside the mountain confirmed the worst. The entire flank had shifted as one massive block. The team scanned for earthquakes. Dead silence. No earthquakes meant something even scarier was happening. By 6:20 a.m., but Rossi sent teams into the danger zone. They raced to Milo and Zafferana at Nea. They needed to find the cracks immediately. Space Command was notified. Satellites were redirected to map the destruction from orbit. Rossi warned the capital. Regional defense teams were put on high alert. They practiced for this for decades, but the mountain just broke all its own rules. Everyone had to adapt or die. The control room was a pressure cooker. Data flooded in from every corner of the volcano. Phones rang off the hook. Rossi stared at the numbers. Every minute could mean life or death. Verify, communicate, prepare for the big one. Etna made its move. Now scientists had to guess the next strike. How much time do we have left? By sunrise, you couldn't hide the damage. Provincial Road 9 had split wide open. Jagged cracks destroyed the lanes. In Milo, the pavement tore apart. In Zafferana Etnia, the ground ruptured. The earth mirrored the mountain's violent shift. These weren't just potholes. Inspectors found cuts slicing deep underground. Sidewalks and ancient stone walls were snapped in half. The fractures clustered on the southeastern slope, exactly where the GPS predicted the collapse. Authorities put up warning tape, but fear spread faster. Locals saw the evidence with their own eyes. Giovanni owns a vineyard near Zafferana. He woke up before dawn to a terrifying sound, a low, drawn-out groan from the earth. It wasn't thunder. It wasn't gas. It was the ground itself screaming under invisible pressure. Giovanni checked his vines at first light. His grandfather's wall had buckled overnight. The earth bulged outward beneath it. Fresh cracks tore through the field. They slashed across the gravel path. The vineyard soil split open. He traced the damage downhill toward the road. Neighbors panicked outside. A garden gate was jammed tight. A garage door refused to close. A kitchen tile split apart. Panic swept the town square instantly. Locals survived eruptions, but this was different. It felt quieter and darker. The cracks on SPV-9 signaled doom. Snorts, proof that the mountain is moving. It is not just data on a screen. The threat is tearing through homes right now. It hunts families on the slope. This nightmare is unfolding slowly. The mountain rests on ancient marine clay. It sits on an old seafloor. This ground is not stable. This is not solid bedrock protecting you. It is a slippery, weak foundation. It cannot hold the weight. The volcano pushes down with massive force. 350 kilometers of rock crush it. Gravity pulls it seaward. The base tilts toward the water. The mountain's own mass forces the slide. It wants to collapse. Movement is usually silent and small. It moves 14 millimeters a year. You might miss it. Scientists call this creep. It is the ticking clock of geological time. Only machines hear it. The block inches closer to the sea annually. Only friction holds it back. It fights the clay. Friction is the last line of defense. It stops sudden disaster. But water and quakes weaken that grip. The clay acts like thick mud, not stone. The immense weight destroys it. The foundation is turning to slime. Etna is not the only slider, but the scale here is a monster. It is a giant slip surface. When friction drops, the mountain lurches. That 14 millimeter creep is a warning. The system is unstable. Here's the real danger. The balance tips instantly. Years of movement happen in hours. Gravity, a sloping base, and broken grip. Music. The mechanics are set for disaster. Etna's southeastern flank is a loaded gun. The system is primed to fire. It is inherently unstable. It moves slow or strikes overnight. Sudden and impossible to ignore. Two theories explain the lurch. Theory 1 blames the magma pulse. The mountain's heart beats too hard. Experts usually bet on this. Magma fills the peak like a balloon. It forces the flanks outward. The pressure builds up. GPS usually sees this coming. The summit swells before the slip. You get a warning sign. Gas rises and tremors surge. Scientists know when it might move. But last night was different. Instruments screamed absolutely nothing. There was zero summit inflation. The warning system failed. The peak remained unchanged, yet the flanks slid forward anyway. No pressure buildup occurred. The rock moved on its own. It lost its grip completely. No magma pushed it. This confirms the second, deadlier theory, gravity-driven failure. The mountain is collapsing under itself. The massive weight sits on slime. Gravity drags the flank seaward. It is a landslide waiting to happen. Friction usually keeps the beast in check. It allows a slow creep. You sleep safe for now. But if friction drops, the chain snaps, the sector slips instantly. No warning from the summit. Dr. Rossi calls it a silent collapse. The internal glue gives way. It happens without a sound. This silence terrifies the experts. If gravity drives this, alarms won't ring. You won't know until impact. The flank could slip again silently. Prediction becomes a guessing game. Your family is the gamble. Last night forced a hard reality check. We are flying blind. The unseen danger is the deadliest. Analyst Marco Venturi ran the simulations. The results are bone-chilling. This is your survival intel. If the flank fails, the mountain falls. Cubic kilometers of rock hit the sea. It is unstoppable. This creates a massive wall of water, 10 to 20 meters high. It races toward the coast. Live in Riposto or Giare, you have 10 minutes. The first wave hits instantly. You cannot evacuate a school that fast. Calabria gets hit next. Shipping lanes are destroyed. This scenario is not fiction. It is a history lesson. This horror is real. 8,000 years ago, Etna did this. Tsunamis crushed shores from Italy to Israel. It wiped out everything. Ancient sediment proves this disaster happened. It reshaped coastlines instantly. Share this warning before it's too late. The proof is undeniable. When mountains fail, the ocean strikes back hard. Look at the deadly warning from 2018. Music. Indonesia's Anak Krakatau collapsed silently into the sea. The resulting tsunami slaughtered over 400 people instantly. Music. No sirens, just a black wall of water at night. But Etna is a monster 10 times bigger. If this giant falls, the destruction will be apocalyptic. History is screaming a warning at us right now. The clock is ticking down fast. If you live near this coast, you are in the danger zone. One slip starts a lethal countdown for your family. Scientists are panic monitoring the volcano 24/7. High-tech sensors track every single millimeter of movement. Deep underground, sensors listen for the mountain's groans. They catch shifts too small for human eyes to see. Data streams in live while the yellow alert blares. Every second counts. Satellites hunt for invisible cracks from space. Nothing hides from these eyes in the sky. One slip changed the mountain's skeleton forever. Experts watch the charts, terrified of the next move. The next reading could signal the end. But this isn't just Sicily's nightmare. This disaster would shock the entire globe. It threatens the heart of Mediterranean shipping routes. Massive tankers and passenger ships are sitting ducks here. They connect 3 continents daily. A collapse means a mega tsunami crushing everything in its path. Ships would be tossed like toys instantly. Global supply chains would snap overnight. Your deliveries and economy could freeze. Think you can fly away? Ash clouds could ground planes across Europe instantly. Snorts. This mountain exposes a weakness that affects us all. It could paralyze the world with zero warning. The scariest part, no siren can save you from a silent slide. Gravity's pulling the trigger, not lava. You might have 0 seconds to escape. Nature decides when to strike. What is your escape plan when the ground drops? Hit share to warn a friend before it's too late. Comment your city below.